So probabilistic question, we are told here question 2B, at Dynamics University College, 25% of the students failed in mathematics, 15% failed in chemistry, and 10% failed in both mathematics and chemistry in an examination of a given academic year. We are required, if a student is selected at random, determine the probability that the student failed in mathematics if he failed in chemistry. Number 2, the student failed in mathematics or chemistry. The student failed in neither mathematics nor chemistry. So the student never failed in mathematics or chemistry, like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think is expected of us in this question? What do you think is expected of us in this question? This is a probabilistic question, but now specifically falling in which cluster? What do you think are we going to do to be able to tackle this question very easily? Very easily. At Dynamics University College, 25% of the students failed in mathematics. So I can see those who failed in mathematics being put in one circle, being put in one set. 15% failed in chemistry. I can see chemistry failures. I can see mathematics and chemistry failures. So this question, I'll be better off tackling it as a set theory question. Is there anybody who had seen that somewhere? So I'll be better off tackling this as a set theory question. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, here we have mathematics. We have, in this case here, chemistry. So those fools who failed in mathematics, tunaweka pamoja. Chemistry, tunaweka pamoja. So walianguka chemistry, like that. So it's a set theory question. Some members of the population here are sharing some characteristics like that. So if that is the case, then what I'll do, I'll come and say this is A, B, C, and then put D there. Now, can somebody help me interpret these letters? A stands for what? A captures which members? A captures which members? Somebody, A captures which members? A will be capturing members who failed in mathematics only. Thank you very much, Bethwell. Those who failed in mathematics only. C represents those who failed in chemistry only. B represents those who failed in both mathematics and chemistry. How about D? D represents those who never failed in mathematics, and at the same time, they never failed in chemistry. So basically, D represents those individuals who passed in the two papers, So this population is being captured in the form of percentages. So it will be good for me to have my base, which is the universe, being 100. And then now let's form equations together. So we are forming equations together. Like now they have told us here, 25% of the students failed in mathematics. Could you kindly help me form that equation? Somebody help me form that equation. 25% failed in mathematics. Do I say A equals 25? Because they are not silent, or rather they are not, ladies and gentlemen, specific here. They are not specific. Those who failed in mathematics, it's a general thing. And everybody who is in that mathematics circle failed in mathematics. So it will be A plus B equals who? 25. Remember, I'm leaving out the percentages because I've taken the base. 25 out of the universe, 100. If I'm handling this question as if it's a set theory question, I can't put percentages here. I can't put percentages there. So anybody who is in this circle of mathematics failed. So it is the entire, it's A plus. If they said those who failed in mathematics only were 25, then my A would have been 25. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there, we come and pick the second one. The second one, we are told here the student, 15% failed in chemistry. 15% failed in chemistry. Can somebody help me form this equation? 15 people failed in chemistry. Do I say C equals 15? Have they said chemistry only? Have they said chemistry only? So can somebody help me form the equation? Sam tells me Bethel has also been able to see that chemistry failures, we have a 2. Right? Everybody who is inside this chemistry failed in chemistry. So you are right. So it is B plus C equals 15. And then they have told us the last thing is that the last thing which they have told us here, which is quite easy, is this one, that 10% failed in both mathematics and chemistry. Failed in both mathematics and chemistry. Could you kindly help me tackle that? Mathematics and chemistry, could you kindly give me an equation there? Mathematics and chemistry. So Sam is telling me that B is 10. B is 10. B is 10. Yes, because of the word and. And means set intersection. And means set who? Intersection, where the two sets are doing what here? Where the two sets are intersecting. So they talk of mathematics and the chemistry, you are right. Then it means that B will be equal to set intersection, set where the two sets are intersecting. So B will be equal to 10. And then, of course, this is not lost on me. I know that the entire universe, if you add the 4, A plus B plus C plus D, this should be equal to what there? Should be equal to 100. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with this, I'll be able now to give you answers. I'll be able to solve here very fast. So you're telling me that B is 10. If B is 10, are you able to see what the value of A will be? If B is 10, are you able to see what the value of A will be? Are you able to see what the value of A will be? It will be 25 minus 10. 25 minus 10 gives me what figure sample there? 15. And then, of course, B also is a known factor here. If B is 10 there, then C, I'll be able to know what the value of C is. Then C will be equal to who? Somebody C. C will be equal to who? If B is 10, C will be 15 minus 10, which is what here? Which is 5. And once I've been able to know that, now I have most of the metrics in my universe. I know A is 15. I know B is 10. I know C is 5. So I can easily evaluate dog. So dog will be 100 minus this, I think, has to be 30, yes. So dog will be 100 minus 30. So therefore, D will be equal to what here? Somebody? D will be equal to 70. So then I have my metrics here. I have my A. My A is 15. I have my B. My B is 10. I have my cow. My cow is 5. I have my dog. My dog here is 70. Now with that, ladies and gentlemen, I should be able to answer most of what here? Most of the questions. With that, I should be able to answer most of the questions. Like Roman 1, what do they want me to do? In Roman 1, they want me to do something very easy. In Roman 1, they want me to give them the student failed in mathematics if he failed in chemistry. The student failed in mathematics if he failed in chemistry. So if is a condition. So the probability that this student failed, the probability that this student failed in mathematics if the student failed in what here? Somebody? Chemistry. In mathematics, if the student failed in chemistry. If. I hope you guys are able to remember this thing. Probability of maths, if. Is there anybody who can expand this for me? Is there anybody who can expand this for me? Because this has to be expanded using some concept. This has to be expanded using some concept. Which concept is that? We called it the Bayes theorem. We called it the Bayes theorem. We called it the Bayes theorem. The Bayes theorem. Is there somebody who can expand this conditionality? It's a conditional if passed in mathematics, or rather probability he failed in mathematics, if at the same time he failed in chemistry. So if is the condition. So Bayes theorem, if you recall, I'll come and talk of probability of M and C. So I remove the stroke. M and C. All over probability of who? Probability of C down there. Is this something that we are able to remember? It's like we're becoming too cold towards this. Is it something we are able to remember? Bayes theorem. Bayes theorem, is it something we are able to remember or nothing totally? No, please talk to me. Are we able to remember anything about Bayes? Bayes theorem, Bayes theorem. Oh, yes or no? 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 Please talk to me. Yes or no? Yes or no? No, no problem. Now, if, for example, somebody gives you this kind of a probability of A given that B, probability of A given that B. Is there somebody who can try expanding this for me? This is very easy. I'll first of all, in the numerator, I'll remove the stroke. I'll move the stroke here. I'll remove the stroke. And if that happens, then this will be probability of A and who? Probability of A and B. Probability of A and B. Probability of A and B. Divided by probability of what here? Somebody? Probability of boy. Divided by probability of boy. Divided by probability of boy. So even if you have never heard about this before, it's a straightforward thing. It's a straightforward thing. But I would want you guys to do me a favor. From our Venn diagram, could you kindly help me read out this probability? Probability of maths and chemistry. This is and. So probability of maths and chemistry, and means we come to the intersection. So then I'll pick here 10 out of, it has to be a probability, remember. So 10 out of the universe, 10 out of the universe, which is 100. How about probability of chemistry? Probability of chemistry, the denominator. Is there somebody who can give me the probability of chemistry, the denominator? Probability of chemistry, the denominator. What I need to do is to ask myself, how many guys failed in chemistry? How many people failed in chemistry? How many people failed in chemistry? No, you are wrong. You are wrong, because chemia, anybody who is in the circle of chemistry, anybody who is in the circle of chemistry, please don't confuse this C with this. No. Even that tells me that I should even write this in full. Chemistry. They're different. Chemistry. So anybody who is in the circle of chemistry failed in chemistry. So then that will be 15 out of what here, somebody? 15 out of 100. 15 out of 100. So please come and now plug in these things here. M and C, it is 10 over 100. All over probability of C, which will be 15 over 100. In mathematics, if the bases are the same, you can go ahead and cancel them. In mathematics, if bases are the same, you can go ahead and cancel them. If bases are the same, you can go ahead and cancel them like that. So when you cancel them like that, or if you don't like that approach of cancellation, you can come and talk of 10 over 100 divided by 15 over 100, which will be the same as 10 over 100 times 100 over 15. So this and this will cancel out, giving me 10 divided by what here, somebody? 10 divided by 15. 10 divided by 15. 10 divided by 15. So at the end of the day, you can see 5 goes a number of times here, which is 2 over 3. So this probability will be 0. What here, somebody? 0.67. 0.67. I'm so sure this one, all of us would have been able to get this correctly. Can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? Can I wrap this? So whenever you are asked about a probability probability of something if, always remember the if thing. They want you to use what we call the Bayes theorem. They want you to use the Bayes theorem. So great. So can we kindly go to something different? Can we kindly go to something different? Something different. What do we have there? The next question that they would want me to give them an answer here is as regards number 2. The student failed in mathematics or chemistry. The student failed in mathematics or who? Chemistry. I like the word or in Venn diagrams. In Venn diagrams, I really like the word or. So could you kindly explain to me, whenever you hear of the word or in Venn diagrams, what comes to your mind? Or. What comes to your mind? Thank you very much. Marriage, addition, you're right. Union, yes, you're right. Union. So whenever they talk of or, so we have here maths, we have here chemistry. So maths or chemistry, they want you to take everything that is there. So probability of maths or chemistry, this is quite easy. Everything that is in these 2 circles. Maths or in mathematics means add. So maths or chemistry, then we have 15 plus 10 plus 5. So we have here 15 plus 10 plus 5, which will, of course, divided by 100 because they want a probability, which will be 30 divided by 100, which will be 0.3, like that. I'm so sure all of us would have gotten that correctly. Great. From there, ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the next thing. The next thing, they want me, ladies and gentlemen, to come and give them the student, probability the student failed in neither mathematics nor chemistry. So neither means that these guys never failed. The student did not fail in mathematics nor what year chemistry. The probability that the student failed in neither, tunakanusha. So in short, they never failed in mathematics nor chemistry. Is there somebody who is able to see that number that neither failed in any of the two? Is there a student who is able to see that number out of my Venn diagram? Those guys basically who escaped failing. Those guys who escaped failing, are you able to see that number here or the letter which represents that? Aha, great. I can see one student who has been able to get that very correctly, because the guys who are outside here neither failed in maths nor what year chemistry. It's D. It's D. So then that probability, neither maths nor chemistry. So of course, in this case here, we normally put like the opposite. They did not fail. So then this will be D, which will be 70 out of what year? 100, which gives me 0.7. I'm so sure you guys would have really squeezed everything there. You would not have gotten anything. But you see, the problem now would have been in interpretation. Interpretation. You know, there are questions, once you see them, you need to know how to interpret them. You go in a place, they tell you that out of these people you are seeing, 30 of them have got Volkswagen Beetle. Those shopping baskets like this. Others, in this case, have got vehicles we call what year? Vehicles we call, for example, the notes. So they have got something they're sharing in common. And others have got some big machines. Few have got some big machines like the V8, ET. So the moment you are able to see some common characteristic being shared, you should be able to tell from the word go that this is what year? A Venn diagram. A Venn diagram question. A Venn diagram question. Great. So then we come back here. These theories are very important. Define the following terms as used in set theory. I would want to get these definitions from you. What is a universal set? I would want to get these definitions from you. What is a universal set? I'm giving you a minute. Please give me these definitions. What is a universal set? 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 I'm giving you 1 minute. 1 minute, try giving me what a universal set is. And if I'm touched by some Holy Spirit, I should be able to send you some M-Pesa. What is a universal set? Is there anybody who is typing something? Is there anybody who is typing anything? A universe. I'm waiting to hear from you. 20:00, 1 minute is over. I'm giving you another minute because I'm so sure there must be somebody there who is trying to type something quite lengthy. So let me give you an extra 1 minute. What's a universal set? A universal set. So a universal set is that set which contains all members, of a given population. A universal set is a set that contains all members of a given what year? Of a given population. For example, right now here, we have a universal set. A universal set in which context? I have a universal set, ladies and gentlemen. A universal set, ladies and gentlemen, like now here, we have online students, RCM, online what here? Online students. This is the universe. The universe. And within this universe now, I can come and categorize you, drill down in terms of categorizing you further. For example, within this universe, I must be having some students in this case here who belong to the Luya community. So I can categorize you, for example, in form of what here? In form of our tribes. Tribes are nice. So I'll have, for example, some of us in this case here being what here belonging to, for example, the Luo community. And then now anybody who will be inside here will be what here? Somebody. Anybody who will be inside here, where I've shaded will be. Yeah, both. A half caste, isn't it? A half caste. So this will be those individuals in this case here whose parents, for example, were Luos, and at the same time, what here, the other parent here was a Luo. So we have in this case here, people belong to both tribes like that. I can come and categorize. I'm so sure this being an online platform, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm to drill this thing down further, I'm so sure I'll be able to get people here who share some similar characteristics. For example, in this particular class, I'm so sure if I was to categorize you in form of gender, we must be having ladies, a circle of ladies. We must be having a circle of what here? Gentlemen. We must be having, for example, a circle of students here who are supporters of BBI, who are very disappointed the other day. And of course, we must be having those guys who are against it. So when we talk of the universe, we are making reference of what here? The entire population like that. Now, from ladies and gentlemen, they want us to give them disjoint sets. So disjoint sets from the word dis. These are those sets in this case here without any shared elements. Sets without any shared common elements. Ladies and gentlemen, disjointed sets are those sets in this case here that do not have an intersection. They don't have an intersection. They don't have an intersection like this. These are disjoint sets. They don't meet. They don't have any intersection. They don't have any common elements. Right? Are we together up to there? If you're told to describe disjoint sets, always remember to draw. These two disjoint sets, always remember to draw those two. So are we together up to there? Are we together up to there? Yes, and then I would want to try you guys here. At least you have to describe something for me here. If you don't describe for me this one, now the class has to come to an end. Distinguish between elementary and the compound events. If you can't distinguish this for me, then we should just close this class and do other things. We should close the class and do other things. Distinguish between elementary events. What are elementary events? Elementary events. The simpletons. Elementary events. Even if it means you guys Googling or doing whatever, you go and Google elementary events, try Googling there, elementary events, and then your devices, and then your devices, and then your devices, your devices, and then your devices, and then your devices, because you have to talk to us. I'm waiting. I'm so seriously waiting. What are elementary events in probability? Give me your own description. Give me your own description. One element, a simple tone. One element. So anytime we talk over an elementary event, which is also known as an atomic event, this is that event which contains only a single outcome. A single outcome, an element. So anytime you have any event, ladies and gentlemen, that has got just one possibility, just one outcome, then automatically that will be what here, somebody? That will be, I'm repeating this severally, an elementary event. For elementary event, we only have a single outcome. How about compound events? Compound events, now from what we have just discussed there, a good student should be able to describe compound events, what they are. Compound events. How comes you guys can't even help me to just define one of them? Any event which has got more than one outcome. Any event which has got more than one outcome will be called what here? A compound event. Compound means many outcomes. So elementary is one outcome, and then compound means what here, somebody? Elementary is one outcome, compound means what here? Many events. I want to believe we are together up to there. Could you kindly confirm our togetherness? Niambie kama tuko pamoja kama Jubilee ama tuko pamoja kama NASA. Tuko pamoja kweli? Please mention there yes if we are together. Mention there if we are together. Simply mention why for yes. Are we together? Would you want Mwalimu to repeat anything? Elementary events are those events with one possible outcome. Compound events are those events which have got at least two or more outcomes, or more than one outcome. Great. They are saying we are together, right? They're saying we are together. Great. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look at part B of this question. Part B of this question, they want us to give them the long run market share of each of the manufacturers. Are you able to remember something to do with the transition matrix and the Markov? Is there anybody who can remember the transition matrix and the Markov? Is there anybody who has a problem with Markov? Is there anybody who has a problem with Markov? Anybody who has a problem with Markov? Is there anybody who has a problem with Markov? Anybody who has a problem with Markov? James is saying yes. CM is saying yes, they have a problem with Markov. So then do me a favor. Would you kindly try, because it's about the long run market share, could you kindly try to form a transition matrix out of this part B? Out of part B, try forming a transition matrix, and then we talk from there. Try forming a transition matrix, and then we talk from there. I can see a student there who is asking something very nice there to do with a single set or a unit set. A single set is that particular set which has got what here? Only one item inside it. One item inside it. Single set. You guys are good. Single set, single set has got only one item. Only one item inside. Only one item inside, we call it a single set. Okay. Okay. So let's try to see what my students have in form of a transition matrix. So in form of a transition matrix, this is what my friends have. In form of a transition matrix, this is what my friends have. In form of a transition matrix, I can see that this is what my friends have. In form of a transition matrix, in form of a transition matrix, in form of a transition matrix. So in form of a transition matrix, I can see we have got three classes, A, B, C, from, and then we have two, A, B, C, like that. Great. Now, after that, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have here. We have been told that in a study of the domestic market share of three major automobile manufacturers, A, B, and C, in a certain country, it was found out that of the customers who bought a car manufactured by A, 75% would again buy a car manufactured by A, 15% would buy a car manufactured by B, and then the rest, of course, a car manufactured by who? By C. Now listen here. So it means that from A to A, from A to A, from A to A retaining, A's retention is 75%. And then those who had bought A last year, they will not buy A again. We are told 15% will go to B. 15%, is it 15 or 25%? Is it 15 or 25%? Which percentage will go to B? They have told us in the question here. They've told us in the question here. They've told us in the question here. They've told us that 15% would go to B, and then the rest would go to C. Who can give us the rest? So the rest, of course, they have to add up to 100%. So then the rest will be 100 minus 25 minus 15, which gives me what percentage? Which gives me 10%. Thank you very much. And then now, remember, to transition is to move. So let us look at from B. Movements from B, what do we have? Movements from B, what do we have? So for movements from B, ladies and gentlemen, they're telling us something very nice here for B. For B, they're telling us, of the customers who bought a car manufactured by B, 90% would again buy a car manufactured by B. 5% would buy a car manufactured by A. Great. So I would want someone to tell me where I'm going to write the 90% from B. Am I going to have 90% here where I'm putting my pen? Am I going to have 90% here where I'm putting my pen? 90%, am I going to have 90% here? No. It's from B to B. 90% will still buy a car that was manufactured by B, right? So it is B to B, 90%. And then now the other 5% will move from B to A. So 5% there. And then the rest now will move from B to C. Who can give us this rest? The rest will be what percentage is somebody, given that the three must add up to 100%. The rest will be equal to what somebody? 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 So 5%. Thank you very much. Now from there, let's capture C. From there, let's capture C. From there, let's capture C. So from there, ladies and gentlemen, I would want us to capture C. So C, what have they told us about C? They're telling us that of the customers who bought a car manufactured by C, 85 would again buy a car manufactured by C, 5 would buy a car manufactured by A. I like this. So ladies and gentlemen, what they're telling me is that CC is at a 5%. And then C, going to A, we are told will be 5%. Then of course, C to B will be 10%. So then my T matrix will be 0.75, 0.15, 0.1. And then we have 0.05, we have 0.9, 0.05. Then we have 0.05, 0.1, and then 0.what here, somebody? 85. That is what we were expected to do, first of all, for us now to be able to go to the next level. The next level, ladies and gentlemen, is all about what here? Equilibrium vector. Is all about the equilibrium vector. So under the equilibrium vector, is there anybody who is able to remember the equation? Under the equilibrium vector, is there anybody who is able to remember the equation? Who is able to remember the equation? We used to say that at equilibrium, save times T equals save. At equilibrium, save times T equals who? Equals save. Save times T equals save. What does save stand for in full? Save stands for the steady equilibrium vector. Save stands for the steady equilibrium vector. The steady equilibrium who? Vector. The steady equilibrium vector. The steady equilibrium vector. The steady equilibrium vector. I would have wished to continue, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit, but I've remembered I have a class with Section 5 tomorrow at 4 a.m. At 4 a.m. So I would want to excuse myself. I ran away, but I know you guys are capable of finishing. You are capable of finishing. Fatima, you have forgotten Markov. Fatima has forgotten Markov totally. Perhaps this gentleman called Areba, if you don't mind, you can get one video on Markov, you give it to them. One video on Markov you give to these students of mine. If you can send them right now, they continue watching, the better. If you can send them right now, they continue watching, the better. There is even one who has an internet issues, would want us to repeat, but I would really request that, okay, that will be okay. Okay. So see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Please, James, don't forget to send them the video on these transition matrices. Bye.